My mother left a bowl of milk beneath her bed every single night. We never owned a cat. It was just one of her things. An old habit, she said, something her own mother taught her. It sat alongside all the other little superstitions, covering mirrors during a storm, knocking before you entered an empty house. Just a harmless ritual. The bowl was this little chipped ceramic thing, always placed in the same spot on the floor, just under the edge of the bed frame. And every single morning, without fail, it was empty, completely licked clean. As a kid, I was curious, of course. I figured we had a mouse, or maybe a possum that found its way under the house. I tried to prove it once. I was maybe 9. I snuck some flour from the kitchen and dusted a perfect, fine circle all around that bowl before I went to sleep. I wanted to see the tiny footprints. I remember the feeling when I walked in the next morning. The milk was gone, but the flour, it was completely undisturbed. Not a single mark, not a smudge. It was like the milk had just evaporated. My mother made me clean it up. She stood in the doorway, her robe pulled tight, watching me. And she said very quietly, "Never try to see what accepts a gift." I laughed because it sounded so silly. She didn't laugh. She just watched me wipe the floor. I moved out, grew up, forgot about it mostly. It became one of those weird family quirks you tell friends about over drinks. But then, years later, my mother got sick. Dementia. It hollowed her out. Some days she didn't know who I was or what year it was. But every single evening, without prompting, she'd fill that same chipped bowl and slide it under her bed. It was the last routine her mind held onto. One morning, I found her in the kitchen. She was pouring a carton of milk directly onto the linoleum floor. It was pooling around her slippers. "The bowl is gone," she whispered. I told her that couldn't be right, I'd check. And sure enough, there it was, right in its usual spot. When I came back to the kitchen, holding it, she wasn't looking at me. She was staring past me, down the dark hallway toward her room. "It moved it," she said. Her voice was flat. "It wants me to bend down." That night, she was too unsteady. She asked me to do it for her, to put the bowl under the bed. I felt ridiculous, a grown man kneeling in my childhood home, but I did it. I knelt down, pushed the bowl into the shadow under the bed frame, and something moved. In that darkness, it wasn't a scuttle. It was a heavy, deliberate shift. The sound of something too big, far too big to possibly be under there. I jerked my hand back so fast I tipped the bowl. Milk splashed across the floorboards. My mother let out this choked scream from the doorway. She rushed over, grabbed my arm, and yanked me to my feet. She shoved us both back against the bedroom door, her whole body trembling. We just stood there, frozen, listening. And then we saw it. From the darkness beneath the bed, a tongue slid out. It was long and pale and strangely broad. Almost like a person's, but not. It moved slowly, deliberately across the wood, lapping up every single spilled drop of milk. When it was done, it just slid back into the shadow and was gone. My mother started to cry. Soft, broken sobs. She said, "You weren't supposed to see it." She died not long after. When the funeral was over, I had to clear out the house. In her room, I found the bowl. She must have filled it one last time. The milk inside had curdled, thick and yellow. The smell was awful. I carried it to the kitchen and threw the whole thing, bowl and all, straight into the trash. That was that. I decided to spend one last night in the house, in my old room. But something felt off, so like an idiot trying to prove a point to myself, I decided to sleep in her bed. In her room, I told myself I was too old for ghost stories. The house settled, the pipes knocked, normal sounds. But each one felt intentional, like it was testing to see if I was listening. At 2:13 in the morning, I heard a scratch, right under me, from directly beneath the mattress. I kept my eyes shut. I prayed it was the house. The scratching moved, slowly, from one side of the bed to the other. Then the mattress dipped, near my feet. Something was pressing up from below. A hand closed around my ankle. It didn't yank, it wasn't violent, it just held me. The grip was firm, almost gentle, almost affectionate. And then a voice came up through the mattress. It was muffled, wet, like something speaking through earth. It said, "Where is my milk?" I couldn't speak. My throat was sealed shut. The hand tightened just a little. "Your mother never made me ask." I started babbling then. I promised I'd get milk. I promised it anything. The pressure eased. The mattress slowly rose again as the weight beneath it retreated. At first light, I drove to a 24-hour shop. I bought a dozen bottles of whole milk. When I got back, the bowl was there, waiting, right under the bed. I filled it to the brim and shoved it into the dark without looking. And that became my life, for 3 years. Every night the ritual, every morning an empty bowl. A quiet, awful agreement. Then, last week, I woke up and the bowl was still full. The milk hadn't been touched. I thought maybe I'd done something wrong. Maybe it wanted a different kind. The next night, I put out fresh milk. Again, untouched. This morning, I got out of bed and saw them. wet footprints on the hardwood floor. Leading from my mother's old room down the hall to the doorway of my room, they stopped right beside my bed, and I realized, as I lay there rigid, that I wasn't alone in the bed. There was something else under the blanket with me. Pressed against my back, its breathing was so perfectly in sync with mine that I had been mistaking it for my own. When it realized I was awake, it shifted. It moved closer. I felt its mouth press against my ear. And it whispered, "Your mother tasted better. Some habits are passed down for a reason. What's the strangest one in your family?"